There are some stories out there where if the word security is mentioned in with an incident, it is ultimately and always a critical. Everyone has to drop tools, stop what you're doing, all work stops, let's fix it. But security is just like any other part of operations and systems health. There are incidents that are low severity and there are incidents that are high severity. And it's important that we decide where they are on that scale when we discover that something is going wrong. There are lots of factors that change the severity of a software security incident. And the first thing you need to know is that the severity level you choose may not stay the same. When you're first starting out, so for example, you just find out that something bad is happening, maybe an alert is triggered from your logging and monitoring, or a support call comes in, or there's an email received, you don't have a lot of information to play with. So your initial assessment is based on a very small set of data. It's highly likely then, so once you trigger your incident response, for you to find more information in your investigation. And as a result, you can choose to make your severity go up or down accordingly. It could be that upon investigation, you find out that it's been going on much longer than you think, so you raise the priority. It could be that you discover actually the impact on an individual is quite low, or that only one person is affected. And so you can lower your severity level too. Always feel empowered to adjust your severity level as you get more information, because that helps us be dynamic with our response. And that's really important. So how do we decide on the severity level of an incident? Well, there's a few factors we need to consider. Impact. So how many people or customers or organizations are affected by this? Now, it could be users, it could be groups of users, but in your world, you'll have a concept of somebody who relies on your system. And as a result, those are your impacted parties. If the scope is limited to just one person, then the severity is likely to be lower than if it was affecting large groups of people. Now, there's some exceptions to this. If that person is very famous or very powerful, you might change your mind. But in the most case, how much impact there is will impact on the severity. The next one we consider is how long has it been going on for? So if it's just started happening now versus has it been going on for a long time? Now, just because it's been going on for a long time doesn't necessarily mean it's more severe. In fact, it could mean the opposite. But looking at the timing elements will help you decide this too. Another thing to look at is regulation. If you're in a regulated industry, there might be literal legal guidelines that say what severity your incidents are and what you need to do next. So watch out for those. Be familiar with your environment from a legislation point of view, and make sure you meet your objectives or your requirements, your obligations. The other thing we look at is, what is the thing? Like, whoa, what is going on here? And by this, I mean, what functionality is exposed? What can an attacker do? If an attacker can just make a little animated GIF jot around on your screen for a little bit, that's perhaps not going to be as severe as denying service to an entire transaction platform during a key marketing period. So you need to look at what behaviors, what availability issues are being created by this, and how is it going to look to people? How is it going to look to your organization? How is it going to interrupt how you make money or how you operate? So by considering all of these things, you can come up with a classification system that has from low through to critical and how you would define them. And that means if something does go wrong, rather than debating, should it be this or should it be that, you can look at your classification system and go, okay, cool, it's this, and it's one of those, it's going to be a medium, and this is how we respond. And you can also define for each of those levels what your response level is. So how quickly would you expect people to acknowledge the issue? How quickly would we like to resolve it? Does it need to happen out of hours? And by answering all of those questions in advance, we remove the stress when bad things happen. So get stuck into making a classification system for software security incidents in your world. Not only is it going to be really, really useful, but you might find that it saves you time in the long run. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like and subscribe, leave comments below, and get stuck into any of the other materials that we have provided as part of the sprint.